Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 8 Day 10 coverage. Looks like the stream is indeed catching up, as it well should. Hopefully everything looks a-okay. I'm looking at the times on the clock, and it should be good. Sorry about that. We did have a minor hiccup. The delay got changed on the stream somehow, and it went from 2 minutes to 13 minutes. So I reset my system, we came back, and everything looked okay. And I was like, whoa, daddy, 13 minutes. So we did have a slightly longer break than anticipated. But we're back, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for being patient during that short break as well. Again, I do apologize for the small bout of tech issues today, but such is the life of live casting. So this draft unfolding very quickly here. Again, I am Zyori, going to be solo casting for Game 3. Hippie did have an appointment in the real world, so he did have to step out for Game 3, and he will be back joining us here for Games 4 and 5 today, and he should be back within plenty of time. Now, Na'Vi, of course, did just suffer a hard loss against Team Empire. That was definitely a rough game, and not playing at their best. They do have a stand-in here. Havost is not with them. It is Lacoste going to be playing with them here. He was their stand-in the last game, though he was tagged up as Beautiful Simplicity here. Going to go back to his true name, I suppose, Lacoste. So let's talk about these bans and picks. We did get into this phase a little bit late here, but Elder Titan was first picked by RoX KiS, and Visage OD were the first and second picks for Na'Vi, and of course RoX KiS just went ahead and grabbed themselves the Razor. Straight away, the counter to OD, they're going to pick him up. No big surprise there. Bans looking pretty straightforward. RoX KiS have banned out, well, signature Na'Vi heroes. Enigma, Chen, Puppy, 3 junglers that Na'Vi have run on several an occasion. Interesting to see the Enigma banned out here, but he was so imperative to that success from Empire in the last game. Now, RoX KiS have been playing pretty well, and oh, goody, they're going to grab themselves a Dazzle third pick, folks. I think we are at the dawn of a new age where Dazzle does have viability in Captain's mode in the competitive scene. Dazzle is here among us, and he is going to be picked up once again. We did see him earlier today, and paired with that Elder Titan, boy, can he be scary. That natural order paired with the weave, that is a lot of negativity coming out on the opposition, and I can't say I'm surprised, but I am so excited to see Dazzle picked here once again. I'll be kind of wondering, are they going to do something crazy here? Are RoX KiS maybe going to grab a Huskar? We are still yet to see that scary Dazzle-Huskar combo. And it is definitely something that could be a reality here in this match. Na'Vi have now picked up Slark, and they did 4th pick the Mighty Wisp. So they are going to show us some Slark play here. I have not seen Na'Vi play Slark quite yet. They may have picked him in some other tournaments they played. But here in Starladder, we have not seen Na'Vi since 6.79C hit. We've seen Alliance do very well with Slark. Loda, I think, is 2-2 so far in Starladder Season 8 with his Slark play. So we'll see if Na'Vi can live up to the standards that Loda have set. Very exciting indeed. That's going to be the Starladder, so not going to be the Huskar combo I was hoping for with that Dazzle, but still a very scary duo. Starladder and Dazzle together. Look at all of this minus armor they've got. Amplified damage mixed with the weave, mixed with the physical damage of Dazzle. Oh, golly, folks. This is going to be a good one. I like what RoX KiS have set up here with this draft. Very exciting.
5 seconds remaining.
Starladder Dazzle. And also that slow from Poison Touch does make for easy Slitherine crushes coming out from the Starladder. Na'Vi gonna final ban out the interesting Shadow Demon. Gonna be their final ban. And Clockwork will be the final ban from RoX KiS. Thinking Na'Vi are gonna want an offlaner here, but no, looks like it will be Slark in the offlane. And they are just gonna grab themselves the Mighty Tiny to pair with that EO. So that is gonna be the classic Tiny Wisp pairing. Probably gonna be up in the safe lane, I want to say, with the Visage OD mid, and they could offlane that Slark. They could also put Slark in the solo safe lane and offlane that really aggressive Tiny EO Visage trio if they were so interested. I do like Slark a little bit better in that safe lane,
5 seconds
but he still does work all right in the offlane. That Pounce does give him an escape mechanism, so he is a little bit difficult to lock down. But he is so snowball based. I always fear when he's in that long lane, he's going to get boxed out if he concedes a couple of early deaths. Can be a little bit difficult for that Slark to make a recovery. And seeing him in that kind of one position driving role tends to fare a bit better in the bit that we've seen him. But alas, he can be successful in that off lane. Not to worry. So Na'Vi gonna get a little bit of Fnatic in him here. The EO Tiny. I'm excited. And we'll see how it fares against this minus armor lineup. RoX KiS, what are they going to do with this final pick? Probably going to be a Razor mid, looking like the Elder Titan off lane. They're going to need another support here. Venomancer is still an option. I've been a little bit cynical about the Veno play, but he does pair very nicely with that Elder Titan. Of course, natural order, lowering magic resistance, so Veno can work pretty damn well. Is that the route they're going to go? Is the big question here on the back of our minds. They're going to have about 15 seconds to figure it out. No, gonna go for the Lich. An interesting choice, but still another very powerful support indeed. Gonna grab themselves a little bit of lane control early on, a little bit of that experience edge, and that may actually go pretty well to deal with this Tiny who's gonna be farming, well, pretty well. I think no doubt about it. RoX KiS very well may want to line up for a 2-1-2 here. Lich, Elder Titan, Dazzle, Starladder, Razor in the mid. They could certainly do that. It kind of depends on how Na'Vi want to set up these lanes to some degree. Going to be another rough one for Na'Vi, though. RoX KiS ready to give them a run for their money, as they do have this massive minus armor lineup. A good lineup, but one that is going to be scary indeed. Now, I like Na'Vi's lineup as well. They've got a lot of scary heroes. And that can certainly get out of control between Slark, Tiny, and the Outworld Devourer, the two great supports, Visage and EO. They've got a very scary lineup, but they need a lot of farm. OD and Tiny in particular, they're going to need a lot of farm to be able to take off and snowball out of control, and I'm not sure that RoX KiS are going to give them that room they're going to need for these carries to really start to snowball against Slark. He's really the definition of a snowball hero, and if they shut down his momentum, his recovery farm isn't always the greatest. It looks like Na'Vi are going to head up to that top lane to start things off, and RoX KiS going to do the same. And we could actually have a level 1 Cataclysmic engage here in the jungle. Sadoy leading the way. Puppey going to scout it out. Now he's going to have to turn and head for the hills. Looks like RoX KiS do want to take a bit of level 1 action. A little bit of harassment coming Sadoy's way. There's the tether forward onto Funnick. And RoX KiS are just going to split. They're going to send 2 top, and they're going to send 3 down here into the river to head towards that mid lane. So they are going to avoid a clash there in the dire jungle. And they will head back to safety. So again, kind of curious how RoX KiS are going to lane this. They do have a couple of options, but my best guess is going to be a 2-1-2 here. Let Dazzle, Starladder start to shine. And throw that Lich in the off lane to pair with the Elder Titan. I think that is what they may do. But time will tell indeed.
The battle begins.
Sadoy gonna bump into Puppey here. A regen gonna spawn up in the top mark, but Sadoy gonna be in big trouble perhaps. Kuroki on the Wisp is gonna tether over. Puppey trying to path block. They're not gonna have the damage though to kill this tanky Elder Titan. He is gonna throw a Spirit, gonna try and get himself a little bit of movement speed. They are gonna start to pursue, but Go Black is stationed about the top lane, and the power of the Lich will start to repel them. So Sadoy does survive. Let's talk about this laning setup here on our Radiant side. We do have Team RoX KiS, a.k.a. RoX KiS. They're just RoX KiS, I'm sorry. I was going to say Next League. That's Next KZ. This is RoX KiS here. Sadoy going to be in the top lane of our little bit of long lane Elder Titan action. He will be joined by the Lich, played by Go Black here. In the mid, it is going to be Razor, played by Scandal. Of course, hoping that OD was going to be the mid choice for Na'Vi, and they do call an audible at the line of scrimmage here. BZZ going to be on the Starladder down here in the bottom, and he will be joined by Yoel, playing on that Dazzle, once again, bringing warmth to my heart here as a true Dazzle fanboy. On our dire side, we do, of course, have Team Na'Vi in the top lane. It is going to be Dendi not playing mid here. He will be on that Outworld Devourer. He is going to be supported by Puppey on the Visage, though he is kind of solo in the lane at the moment. Very interesting to see Na'Vi switching it up this hard. In the mid lane, it is going to be a duo lane. Wisp Tiny. Tiny going to be played by their stand-in in the stead of Havost. It is Lacoste going to be farming away here in the mid. And Kuroki going to be supporting on the mighty Wisp, already tethered up. Funnick going to be in that off lane for a bit of long lane Slark action, and he's got his work cut out for him here, because he is going to be up against that scary duo of Starladder Dazzle. And already Slark sitting 0-0, and Starladder off to the races, 4-2 to get things started here at the 1.5 minute mark. Funnick being very aggressive here. He is going to pounce onto Starladder, will connect with a leash. There is a poison touch on the Dazzle at level 1, and he is going to harass back Funnick just a little bit. If only he had that Shadow Wave right there. Could have dropped a heal bomb. That would have done quite a bit of damage to the Slark, but still, this duo lane going to be very scary, especially once the levels start to come out. Right around that level 3, level 4 mark, that's when Starladder and Dazzle really going to start to shine, and Funnick going to find himself hard-pressed to get anything resembling a decent farm. Now again, as I mentioned, RoX KiS going to be a little bit disappointed to see OD in that top lane, as they did pick Razor to directly counter him. Razor does have a great laning phase in that 1v1 heads-up matchup. Somewhat good play by Na'Vi, but still, RoX KiS going to be okay with Lich in that off lane. He will be able to sacrifice those creeps, of course, and deny some valuable farm going the way of OD. So still going to find a way to slow down that OD's farm and stop him from getting out of control. As I mentioned, Na'Vi have a fairly greedy lineup here. In all 3 lanes, they have heavy farmers that really need a lot of momentum to get out of control in this match. And if RoX KiS put on some early aggressive power, hit that mid-game stride right around that 10-11 mark when that minus armor starts to stack up, that level 2 weave, that's when things could get rough for Na'Vi while their carries are still trying to farm. I'll be curious to see if any Hand of Midas come out in this game. Na'Vi could certainly use them if they have the farming room, but again, I worry about that mid-game aggression RoX KiS will be able to put out, and I don't know that this will be the best Hand of Midas game for the side of Na'Vi. Short pause here is going to resume in a pretty timely manner, and we will be able to press on. 3-minute mark, still no kills on the field, or on the board I should say. Slark starting to get harassed out though. Funnick only 1-0 in CS, so he is getting completely boxed out here. Going to pick up his 2nd creep kill right there, but y'all doing a good job. Y'all doing a good job here on the Dazzle, boxing him out. Level 2 poison touch here at level 3, no big surprise about that. Scandal doing a great job against this duo lane in the mid. He is sitting 12-7 against the 9-5 Tiny. So Lacoste not farming as well as he would like, especially given that it is a duo lane. One of the problems with Wisp is that he does need experience, so they are going to slowly get out experienced here in the mid. He does want to hit level 6 as quickly as possible. They are going to find an engage onto Scandal here. Lacoste going to press forward. Scandal may very well fall. Down he goes. That is going to be the first blood. Tiny going to be able to grab that last hit and get that 400 bit of bonus goals. Just as I'm saying, Scandal faring pretty well. Does overestimate his prowess perhaps, and they do set up a first blood kill on him. Very well done there in the mid lane. And going to give Tiny a nice boost in the farm that he desperately needed, as Razor was starting to harass him out a little bit. So Na'Vi going to be off to a good start here. And perhaps a rotation going to come the way of this mid lane. Yol going to grab himself a haste rune here. Uh-oh, looks like they could go for Slark. Of course, that pounce from Funnick will give him a getaway here. Poison touch comes out. Are they going to pursue? No. I thought Slytherin Guard may want to go for it, but he does back out.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Starladder
attack.
still #1 in farm right here, so Biz doing all right. Yol, uh-oh, he's going to dive it. They see Funnick. Funnick going to be in big trouble here. He does burn the pounce. It will leash on the Dazzle, but it doesn't matter. Funnick absolutely slated to fall right here. Down he goes. Biz is going to be the one to grab that last hit. Well played there. Funnick trying to hide in the trees. Smart play from Dazzle with that haste rune to poke forward and try and scout it out. And of course, that little bit of risk does pay off. Nowhere for the Slark to go. And that is going to boost Slardar's farm even more. Starladder, another one of these heroes that can be very, very powerful if he gets that early momentum. And similar to some of the heroes on Na'Vi, his recovery mechanisms aren't that great, but if he gets that early momentum, boy, can he be a force to be reckoned with. Still pretty even here. 1 kill apiece. Looking at that gold graph completely zeroed out. Small experience advantage for Na'Vi, but nothing too crazy. Still a very, very even game on our hands to start things off. Again, keeping an eye out for that Hand of Midas play. If Na'Vi invests in it, could be punishable by RoX KiS. Starladder now going to have his power treads. So we'll be off to the races here. Slark only on those brown boots. I like the choice to grab the relatively early treads here for the Starladder. That does limit some of the power of that Slark to pounce out, especially mixed with the sprint. Interesting build from Starladder here as well. He is level 5, going to go 3-2-0. You do see some Stardadders grab that value point in bash very early on just for a little bit of RNG, but no, Starladder going to grab that second point in sprint for a little bit of movement speed advantage as well. Again, trying to mitigate some of the effectiveness of that Slark pounce that he can use to escape in those sticky situations. Up in the top lane, Denty doing pretty well. He is sitting 21-11, as Sadoy sitting 11-3. So fair bit of farm being denied here. And in the mid lane, Scandal going to be going toe-to-toe. Look at that. He's going to be able to cruise around and will dodge the avalanche. Trying to finish off that Tiny, but not going to find it. Wisp helping him regen a bit, as Wisp is the bottle carrier here. We'll be able to fill up the bottle with an illusion rune in the top. Scandal, though, going to come in. Static Link going to get a lot of charges here. Minus 84. Yol comes in. They want to try and set up a kill. Avalanche going to fly. Will connect with the Dazzle. The combo won't be enough to finish him off. Dazzle going to be able to get the Grave. Down goes the Tiny. Down goes the EO as well. And now Slark going to be able to finish off Dazzle. But Dazzle may, Slark may not get off scot-free. He's going to try to go toe-to-toe with Razor. Does have the ulti here. Razor nowhere to go. is going to turn a few more auto attacks, unfortunately, for Funnick. Go Black going to roam down, and that'll finish him off. So that will be a Dazzle in exchange for 3 heroes of Na'Vi, the duo lane in the mid, as well as the Slark. A great exchange for RoX KiS, and of course that whole time that opened up a lot of room for Biz to just farm away as Starladder did rotate to the mid. Now going to be 36 and 16. So a multifaceted win there for RoX KiS. They took that huge advantage and also opening up room for this Starladder to get a bit more out of control. Now all of a sudden this gold graph dipping way in favor of RoX KiS. Experience graph to boot. They are in good shape. Oh, in the mid, maybe setting something up. Y'all gonna be nearby, trying to stay aggressive here. He is level 5. Dazzle, another one of those supports that does need some early levels, and he's got it here at level 5. Does have the level 3 poison touch and will be 6 in a pretty timely manner. As Hippie mentioned in the last game, Dazzle now can really make use of that weave at level 6 if he chooses to level it. Following those little tweaks in 6.79, it does give that ulti a little bit more prowess here at level 1. In the past, not in Ultimate, you usually leveled at level 6, but now you can grab it if you want. A lot of Dazzles do prefer it more at that level 9, level 10 mark for those extra points in Shadow Wave. Down to the bottom lane here, Funnick in big trouble. Biz gonna pursue. Funnick will use the ulti, is gonna try and pounce away. Biz thinking about pursuing into the tower, but is gonna disengage. And Slark will survive. Slark's still a very difficult hero to lock down, but not finding the momentum he's looking for. Scandal gonna get the static link off on KuroKy. He's gonna be able to tank the combo from Lacoste. That'll be a dead EO, and he does have 140 damage on him. And Tiny, overestimating perhaps that uphill miss, gonna hold back Scandal. A boot difference will allow Tiny to survive. All about that uphill miss, though. If it didn't miss, I think Tiny would have gone down, perhaps. Nah, it would have been close. I think he still might have been able to make it away, but those phase boots will ensure the survival of the mighty Tiny. Gonna make it 5-2 here, and Razor is gonna grab phase boots of his own as he does. Well, yeah, it looks like he is going to be heading back. Still very low. Empty bottle. Does not have the courier either, so he's just going to head back and grab those core items. But now that he's got the phase boots, it's going to be one and done for Tiny. He's not going to get that lucky again. Next time, Razor will be able to pursue and take him down. Starladder looking like he is going to open Vanguard here. Does have himself a Ring of Health as well as a Stout Shield. About 700 in the bank. And that Vanguard opener, pretty classic. What a lot of Starladders like to do. Then you just transition into Blink, into BKB, so you have that survivability as an initiator. We see Dazzle continuing to harass back Funnick, and wow, with that amplified damage, just look how fast Slark drops. Absolutely no laning presence for Funnick here. He is only 3-0 in last hits, and this is exactly what I was talking about, where Slark, a hero that needs some momentum, and he is absolutely not finding it here. Literally no farm to his name. Still no item progression, only Boots of Speed, Stout Shield, and Magic Stick. Not even a Magic Wand, just going to have the stick. And if he's not careful, they may be able to set up a kill on him. Of course, he is still a slippery bandit with that Shadow Dance, Pounce, and the Dark Pact. All of them very slippery abilities. But still, struggling very much so in farm. Huge lead now for RoX KiS, and oh no! The Wisp going to get taken out by Scandal. An easy kill there for the Razor. He just pokes up the high ground, and is going to be able to finish off that Wisp. Nice 2,500 gold lead here set up for RoX KiS already. Experience lead to boot somewhere around that 3,000 mark. Dendy gonna try and harass back Scandal. We'll be able to force him to retreat for now. That bottle gonna get sipped up, and they'll both disengage. With Scandal rotating to the top lane, that is going to open up a little bit of room for Lacoste in the mid. Playing on that Tiny, he is now level 7. Looks like he is going to go that phase drum opener. Probably going to be looking for an early Ag Scepter. Going to grab that giant tree for a bit of cleave action. It is core on Tiny these days.
Is under attack.
This bottom tier 1 tower for Na'Vi under heavy pressure. Slark forced to retreat, and it looks like he is just going to abandon the lane for now. He is going to come back though, does have a double damage, and he's going to bump right into Starladder. Courier going to be under a little bit of assault, but Funnick not going to be able to finish it off despite having that double damage rune. Starladder looking for an opportunity, though not going to find it.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
RoX KiS just looking good here. Overall, they have a scary lineup, and Na'Vi just not handling this combo so well. Looking at the KDA chart, KuroKy already conceding 3 deaths pre-level 6. He's still only level 5. Getting pretty close to that level 6 mark, but Wisp, another one of those heroes that basically turns into a different presence once he grabs that relocate. And his efforts being thwarted so much are really holding back the gank potential of Na'Vi. Once he hits level 6, that's when RoX KiS won't be able to be so liberal with their aggression. But still, doing a great job shutting down that Wisp. Scandal has really done a great job in the mid lane. A big win the way of RoX KiS has been this mid lane. Razor has been a 1v2 pretty much the whole game. The supports have rotated in just a little bit here and there, but all in all, Scandal has been holding his own very, very well. Lich now going to be working towards an early mech. I think a smart choice as RoX KiS will want to keep this aggression on. Down here in the bottom lane, Dazzle will use a weave. He did skill it very early on here. Is going to press forward. That's going to be the end of the Slark as Biz does get off a nice Slitherine Crush. Now Biz going to be in kind of an awkward spot. Puppey going to nuke him. That is going to make it a 1-for-1. Still a worthy trade, though. They do finish off that Slark, further slow him down. In the mid, Tiny going to fall. A Chain Frost did come out, and that will assist in a bit of extra damage to finish him off. KuroKy does survive, but still not even level 6. May grab it with this creep right here. In fact, he will. And that bottom tier 1 tower will fall for Na'Vi. It will get denied, but that tower is going to fall nonetheless. Now going to be 8-3. Finding kills all over the place. Still 2 very high target kills going the way of RoX KiS. They did lose their Starladder, unfortunately, but Tiny and Slark, 2 targets that they absolutely need to shut down, and they are going to find more shutdown kills coming their way. Now, Dendi up in the top, going to be under heavy pressure. Astral Spirit to start it off. Scandal comes in. This Razor starting to snowball here. 6-1-1. He is unstoppable now with his phase boots and bracer. Empty bottle. This top tier 1 tower going to be under heavy fire. Na'Vi may try and make a hold here. They do have a glyph available. Creep wave just going to get obliterated. And nope, not even going to burn the glyph. They're just going to sack that top tier 1. Tower count now going to be 2-0. This gold graph starting to get scary here at the 13-minute mark. Going to jump up even more following that tower kill, now upwards of 6,000 gold or so. Experience graph, very comparable. And those core items are coming about on the map. Mech advantage will go the way of RoX KiS. Lich does have the recipe already. He's got the headdress, getting close to the buckler as well. Right now, only a headdress on Dendi. Unfortunately for Na'Vi, Dendi going to go double defensive items here on the OD. He did feel forced to go 4-staff first, and now going to transition into the mech. Generally speaking, you want to grab one or the other, but recognizing the supports are so poor, no mech going to be coming out early. Getting that mech on the field is definitely the priority. We'll hold that thought, though. Is in the mid lane. Dazzle going to use the weave. Tiny just going to get melted. He'll turn into a rock pile into the ground. Now Slark going to pursue. Dazzle going to be able to get off that shallow grave. Now Funnick maybe in a bit of a sticky wicket. Nope. Slithering Crush not going to connect. KuroKy will relocate back into the mid lane here. Did miss a kill down to the bottom. While all that was happening, Scandal did pursue onto the Visage. Level 12 Razor. Going to be able to grab a kill on that level 8 Visage. Look at the level difference here. Level 12. The highest level on Na'Vi is level 8. Big disparity here. 11-3, 14 minutes in. This is looking eerily similar to the last game, Na'Vi versus Empire, where they were forced to tap out at the 18-minute mark. Maybe not quite as bad, but still RoX KiS with some serious momentum here. 7,500 golden experience lead now, holding steady. Those core items coming out. Razor now has an Ogre Club. Grabbed himself a cloak for good measure to try and deal with that tiny burst. Drum of Endurance out as well. Starladder now has the Vanguard. Probably going to be pulling up for that blink. Indeed he is. Sitting with about 1,700 in the bank. Weave going to come out. Biz going to come around the backside. Lacoste going to be in big trouble here. Monster kill coming out for Scandal as the Wisp gets melted. Beautiful shallow grave now coming out onto the Starladder. That'll keep him alive. Oh, it just keeps getting worse. Lacoste going to fall. Funnick taking heavy damage. Not going to be able to survive for too long. Visage going to get melted. Scandal going to dive it. It's going to be a 1-for-5. Every single player of Na'Vi going to get destroyed by the power of RoX KiS. Ultra kill coming out for Scandal. This is dirty work here, guys. Na'Vi in big trouble. Not quite at that insurmountable lead point, but this is really looking bad. An absolutely terrible team fight. That mech advantage, the shallow grave, Yol showing us why Dazzle is a big pick here. That shallow grave absolutely instrumental to that team fight right there. Holy Dazzle, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be the end of the tier 1 in the mid lane. The gold graph going to get worse and worse. Now upwards of about 10,000. Experience graph even worse. What has happened to the mighty Na'Vi? Is Havost really this crucial to their lineup? It seems to be the case. Not that Lacoste has been playing poorly, but without their mighty Havost, they're rotating these lanes. Dendi in the safe lane, this duo mid. I applaud their eagerness to experiment, but not going their way this game by any stretch of the imagination. Item progression here, non-existent. Tiny does have that drums recipe, but still hasn't got it complete. Puppey does have a medallion. But oh no, Scandal, invisible here. This may just be an easy kill on the Visage.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Maybe on the
attack.
Dendi as well. 4-staff forward, static link still going to be connected. Dendi just going to try and port out. Weave does come. Now Lacoste and KuroKy. Dendi actually going to cancel the port. Now Scandal just going to go straight forward. Puppy going to fall. Scandal's hitting like a Mack truck right now. The brake line's cut. He's cruising down the freeway. That's going to be the end of the Tiny. He gets the shallow grave. Down goes Kuroki as well. Another triple kill coming out. Scandal is playing out of his mind. 14-1-1 on this Razor. It doesn't get much more of a snowball than that. This Razor is beyond out of control, folks. He's now going to have that BKB at the 16-minute mark. Oh my god, it just keeps getting worse here. That's it. GG! GG, well played. Na'Vi tapping out. An 18-minute concede into a 7-minute concede. Empire and RoX KiS dethroning your previous TI champions. Oh no. Na'Vi just can't do it without Hvost. I am beyond words right now. RoX KiS with this amazing draft. Completely shutting down Na'Vi. Scandal playing out of his fucking mind on that Razor. A 1v2 in the mid. He shut down the Tiny Wisp combo as a solo Razor. Minimal support coming in. Absolute devastation. Yol continuing to show us why Dazzle is insanity. Just ridiculous synergy between this roster. I love it. Minus armor may be the new meta here, guys. This is ridiculous by every stretch of your imagination here. Well played by RoX KiS. A much-deserved win. That was Game 3 of the day, guys, and that was another quick one. We're going to have a good half-hour break before Game 4 resumes. Thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Summit. I am Zyori, solo casting Game 3. Hippie going to be joining me once again for Games 4 and 5. Absolutely ridiculous. Literally beyond words.